Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from Bounding Into Comics dated October 18th, and you're hearing it now because I am out of town, and so I'm putting out videos while I'm out that are just kind of random pop culture articles, so I don't have to keep up on the news because I'm not going to be making videos while I'm on vacation, so you get this instead. And this is titled, DCU could have been built by Grant Morrison instead of Tom King, but James Gunn didn't offer anything to write. And all I'll say is that if you're someone out there that doesn't know anything about comics and who these people are, Grant Morrison is generally considered one of the greatest writers in the history of comic books. He's actually up there with like Alan Moore and Stan Lee and those guys. And I've read a lot of Grant Morrison stuff. He tends to be extremely hit or miss for me. Like the stuff that's miss, I am like, I don't know what the hell that was that I just read. But the stuff that hits is like, that's just awesome. Okay, and there's a lot more awesome stuff than there is stuff that misses for me. And if you're wondering who Tom King is, I don't think I've ever actually read anything Tom King's written, but from the people that I follow that talk about this sort of stuff, that have read Tom King stuff, it seems like he basically tells the same story over and over and over, and it's always like a strong woman, like man getting cucked type story. And from what I understand, before I get into the article, like when he wrote Batman, he was supposed to write 100 issues of Batman, and it seemed like everybody was on board with what he was writing. Like I remember seeing pretty decent reviews all across the board, until like in issue 50 that Catwoman left Batman at the altar because everyone was looking forward to it. And then Catwoman left him at the altar, and from there was backlash to like everything he did in Batman, and DC had to eventually tell him like, you're done. Like I think it was like at issue 85 or something like that. Like they kicked him off the book. And the dude is like also a far leftist as well. Grant Morrison is also very much on the left, but he at least can a lot of the times put his politics aside and just tell good stories. He only started getting political like in the last decade or so with some of the stuff he's doing, but before that, like if you read his Doom Patrol or his JLA or his Superman for All Seasons, you're going to be like, these are awesome stories. And that's just a few of many, and I can go on that forever, but let's see what happened here, because trust me when I say that you'd rather have a DCU run by like a Grant Morrison than a Tom King from everything I know. So it says, finally, we're into the actual article, 2.5 minutes into the video. So somewhere across the multiverse exists a timeline where instead of CIA agent turned DC writer Tom King, James Gunn tapped acclaimed Final Crisis scribe Grant Morrison to help him build out the cinematic DCU. Sadly, ours is one where DC Studios didn't offer him even a TV miniseries to work on, which is a crime in and of itself. And yes, Tom King is actually a former CIA agent. And why are you calling? Why is the one thing you're offering about Grant Morrison here that he wrote was Final Crisis, which is one of the things I would say is a miss from him. Like JLA is the thing people always go to, like Justice League of America. So use that, guys. Use like a good thing. Well, I have to click on read more. Sorry, I'm like scrolling down into all the ads. Whee! And here it goes. So this is from All-Star Superman, I believe. Is it? Yep, All-Star Superman Volume 5, because it's Frank Quitely's art. Anyway, it says the DC bibliography, including such other seminal works, are there, because Bounding Into Comics is going with the Grant Morrison thing. He goes by the they-them thing, which is stupid because he's not a plural. It says their DC bibliography, including such other seminal works as Animal Man, which is awesome, JLA Volume 1, it's not just Volume 1, it's just JLA, and All-Star Superman. Yeah, so some of the stuff I said, but I didn't say Animal Man before, but his Animal Man is great. I'm calling him, okay? As Morrison revealed his unfortunate distance from Gunn's new film franchise while answering fan questions as part of a recent Ask Me Anything Q&A session held with members of Reddit's r DC Comics community. So no wonder he's using pronouns. Met with an inquiry as to his thoughts on the state of non-comic superhero content today, e.g. movies and TV shows, and is there any chance of you writing for Gunn's DCU in the coming future? The Batman and Robin Volume 1 writer answer in order, first opining, there is a lot of great material, some not so great. I loved Peacemaker and Marvel Studios' Eyes of Wakanda, and then revealing, like fools, the DCU didn't offer me anything to write. As even though I've created and developed 3 seasons of television in the last 10 years, he playfully exclaimed, imagine an Animal Man show or 7 Soldiers. And 7 Soldiers I wasn't a huge fan of, but like I said, Animal Man was good. And so there is the screen print in question. So then, for those curious, Morrison's reference to his tenure on the Suicide Squad, which, where did he mention that? Because that wasn't even oh, like here's, so the person asked the question, he didn't refer, Grant Morrison did not refer to it. The person who asked him the question referred to it. So clean that part up here. All right, so this is, so it says, Morrison's reference to his tenure on the Suicide Squad comes by way of his aforementioned Animal Man run, where he played with the book's surreal, metatextual nature to self-insert himself as the writer, capital T, capital W, an omnipotent being who was able to manipulate reality with his words and cared little for the fact that he had essentially ruined the titular hero's life. Sounds kind of weird, but that it was good. It comes at near the end of his run on Animal Man. It's like the second to last issue, I want to say. I read that within the last year, his whole run on that, and it's good. So, again, I recommend it. Eventually blinking into non-existence at the end of Morrison's time on Animal Man due to the book's storytelling duties being handed over to Peter Milligan. The writer would make one more appearance in John Ostrander and Kim Yale's Suicide Squad Volume 1, number 58, as well as a single-panel cameo in the main War of the Gods Volume 1 event book via a flashback to this exact moment, wherein a sudden onset case of writer's block causes him to meet his end at the hands of a raging werebeast. Yeah, it's just one of those omnipotent characters where you're like, does that need to actually exist? And that is, that's from Suicide Squad. Okay, I haven't read that yet. I have those issues collected in trade, but I have not read the Suicide Squad stuff yet. I've always heard good things about it. Now, to be fair, Gunn is, of course, under no obligation to hire any specific talent to work on the DCU, nor has there been any sort of promise made to Morrison regarding an opportunity to do so, which is stupid. And it's not like Morrison would have to replace King outright, despite how much joy it would bring pretty much everyone, as he could easily just be given a separate project or serve as a late addition to the overall planning team. And see, and now they've switched his pronoun back to he, so good job bounding into comics. However, these facts do not change this objectively insane reality that rather than someone whose contributions to DC lore are some of the most well-received, endearing, and celebrated in the entire canon, the publisher's cinematic future is instead being handed over to a guy who claimed that an unmodified Catwoman could outthink and outspeed the entirety of the Flash family, turn Supergirl into a reclusive, emotionally closed-off, highly fantasy-styled space adventurer, whose run on Omega Men Volume 3 basically boils down to CIA-enhanced interrogation apologia, who has openly bragged about both planning and helping spearhead the United States' 2003 invasion of Iraq. And just so you know, Catwoman in no way, shape, or form with anything is faster than the Flash. It's just not possible. Yeah, this is not a scenario that would actually happen unless the Flashes were depowered. She would stand absolutely zero chance against them. So this bafflement is only exacerbated by the fact that Gunn explicitly cited All-Star Superman as a direct inspiration for Superman and plans to have Damian Wayne, originally created for Morrison's run on Batman Volume 1, serve as the DCU's resident Robin. If DC Studios is just going to use their work as a blueprint, why not just go straight to the source? And they just went back to using their, and I got caught up in that. Stop doing that. Just imagine being DC or Gunn, or even King himself, and thinking, who needs Doom Patrol or 52 or the Multiversity when you can have Heroes in Crisis and Cat? Am I right? And there's I think it's from, what's that from? Oh, Final Crisis, okay. There's actual-wise, hyper-crisis level insanity. The Gentry are winning. It says, while there are, of course, always exists the possibility for Morrison to be brought on board to the DCU sometime in the future, the writer revealed elsewhere in the thread that he currently has no major projects planned at DC, adding, that's not to say I might not do something else there. And he should. I mean, like I said, some of his more recent stuff that I've read has been pretty woke, but he's still an excellent writer, and I'd still give him the benefit of the doubt and the chance and just be like, dude, just tell stories. We're not interested in the pronoun crap or anything woke, okay? So there you go. I just thought I wanted to bring this up and say, like, they passed over the all-time great writer for some dude who basically has mommy problems. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.